Welcome back to AWA, and we have a bombshell to start this week's episode on Petey Crockett, the man who is in control of AWA, has also accepted a job as the head booker for NXT UK. In a surprising turn of events, he was the leading candidate for the role all along. He is expected to freshen things up almost immediately, with some major changes apparently in store for the company at their next show. So we will keep a close eye on NXT UK and see if they look to poach some of our talent going forward. Luke T. McFunk, who has yet to have a match in AWA and is my co-commentator for shows, has decided to agree a deal with NXT UK, probably at the behest of Petey Crockett. It's a handshake deal, so he'll still be able to work for us, fortunately. Also signed by NXT UK is one Blue Tiger, who you saw in the last episode in a good match against Nick Flag. He's also agreed a handshake deal with NXT UK. I feel like the whole roster might disappear soon. Phantasmo is the latest man to agree a deal with NXT UK. That takes their total up to 4 now, including Petey Crockett, I think. So yeah, they're definitely trying to take all of our guys. I think I might as well just keep this screen on while we wait and see if more people get taken, because at this rate it's going to be the whole roster and I'm just going to be having to change when I book shows. Normally AWA tape on Saturdays and Sundays. I've left it as Saturdays and then to air on the Friday when it comes usually on television. But if most of the people start working dates for NXT UK on the Saturday, I'm going to have to change it because I won't have any wrestlers to do a show with. Oh my good grief, we've got loads of news going on here. Now, Chris Cage has been offered a contract with NXT UK. Presumably that's just a handshake agreement as well. Dickie Bowen's the same. Tommy J. Curtis is the same. Bam Bam Booyah. Thomas Billington. John Allens. Soul Killer. Yeah, it's going to pretty much be the whole roster. Could be on NXT UK in the near future. Petey Crockett is certainly coming back to the well to take all our talent, but thankfully they're not written deals, so we can still use them, because it might, if they don't clash with our timetable, this might be a benefit because they'll get more exposure on the network. So ideally, this works in our favour, but we'll have to wait and see. The viewing figures are back from our first TV taping that we did in episode 1. It just aired on TV. And it got a rating of 0.01 with 10,663 viewers. That's pretty good, I think. I don't know how it compares to other shows, but the channel that channel 7, I think it is, which the show is AWA is shown on, is shown also in Europe, but it's obviously a very small network in Europe, so it's good for us to get popularity nonetheless. So yeah, that's good to hear, and we'll try and carry on and see if anyone else gets poached by NXT UK. I'm back, and it's not quite time for the show, but I thought this was a big news story. Adam Cole, the NXT champion, has lost his title to Austin Theory in a match at NXT TakeOver Philadelphia. This is the first time Austin Theory's won the title, and there's rumours that the Undisputed Era will disband following this, which is unusual. I wouldn't do it if I was the booker of NXT, but that's what they've done. Other news, briefly catch you up on. Black Demon has announced he is going to retire in 3 months' time. He is known for not ever picking up a win, so maybe he's going to pick up a win before he ends his career. But or does his legacy need him not to win? We'll get into the card in a second, but this tickled me no end. Luke T. McFunk, who is starting in his debut year of wrestling, teamed up with Chris Cage in NXT UK to become a tag team known as Terror Rising, aka the name they wanted to give Triple H back in the day. Terror Rising. If you want to know what happened to them, where is it? News. NXT UK. They teamed up with Scotty Davis, this fella from Ireland, against Gideon Gray and the Coffey brother, Mark Coffey and Wolfgang Gallus. And they lost in that match. They got a 49 rating, third billing on NXT UK. They've come a long way since my show, and they'll probably be on my show coming up anyway. So let's get into the card. We begin with a match between Lewis Blaine and Phantasmo for the British Championship. Lewis Blaine, after raining shots in on Phantasmo making a bit, enjoying, just ducking and weaving, having a bit of fun with the crowd, absolutely gets decimated in the second round of the British rules match. Lewis Blaine locks in a submission and Phantasmo passes out from the pain. And Lewis Blaine makes defense 1 of his AWA British Championship. He gets a 19 rating, Phantasmo gets a 23. The match got the show off to a strong start and the crowd are hot for this. 22 rating overall. Good start for this. Next up, Lewis Blaine is approached backstage by the interviewer. They ask, Lewis Blaine, what do you think of what Foxcatcher said last week? He wants to challenge for your title. Lewis Blaine thinks about it and says, he's not in my league. He is not good enough to challenge for this, and I don't have any idea why he thinks he is. And then he just walks off. And Lewis Blaine gets a 24 rating for this segment, so it's definitely continues the show off in a hot fashion. Will Foxcatcher get that match? We will find out in future weeks. Next up, we have a match in the tag team tournament. We haven't had one of these for a while. It's the third round of the quarterfinals. Third match of the quarterfinals, I should say. And Blue Strike Force, Dan Stryker and Blue Tiger, who picked up a defeat last week in the main event against Nick Flag. He's bounced back with a win with his partner Dan Stryker as they beat the Dogs of War, John Allens and Chris Smith. Blue Tiger got a 24, Dan Stryker got an 18, John Allens 20, and Chris Smith just a 13, unfortunately. The crowd is still hot though, and a 21 rating overall is pretty good as Blue Strike Force advance to the semi-finals. Next up, we have the Showdown. It didn't get a great rating, but we can't do anything about it now. So Chris Cage comes out, Nick Flag comes out, PD Crockett's in the middle. He's saying, next week we're having this big match, the title match. Don't get involved physically until then. We want to get people to have to hold on just one more week. And Nick Flag must have said something as Chris Cage goes at him, and then the backstage fly out and try and break them apart. Everyone's out there. Billington's brought the Bardsley Brawlers out there. Monty Bird, Bully Boy Carter. They're just dragging them away, trying to keep them away under the orders of PT Crockett until next week when we're going to see this big match between the two. So we will see it. It's lost heat, but hopefully it picks it up when we have the match next week. So rating of 13, not very good, but we're going to keep it rolling on. Next, we have Mike Kash. Remember last week he absolutely tore Dickie Bowen apart after his match with Slapshot. Left him laying after hitting the chair on his knee. And he had to be helped out of the arena on a stretcher. Mike Kash comes out confidently this week thinking, yes, actually, Dickie Bowen, I do want that title shot and I want it tonight. Get out here and give me that title shot. 21 rating for this, not bad at all. And let's see what Dickie says. You see Dickie, top of the ramp, coming down. He's hobbling. He's wearing, looks like a brace on his knee. He doesn't look to be moving that fast at all. But he grabs the mic and goes, I'm not backing down. And he gets in the ring. And the referee is telling him, you can't wrestle like this. It's got a rating of 16. You can't wrestle. Don't do it. And Dickie's just pushes the ref away and goes, ring that bell. And then, in an extremely short match, Mike Kash picks up Dickie Bowen, throws him down, pins him, 1, 2, 3, and we have a new AWA YouTube champion. Dickie Bowen gave all he could, but in the end, he's just injured and he couldn't go as well as he used to before the injury last week. Dickie Bowen got a 22, Mike Kash got a 19. They were both off their game, and that shows in the rating of just 9 for a main event, which is unfortunate because I thought this is probably one of the hottest angles we had at the moment. But unfortunately, both of them let me down today. But as it says, Mike Kash, new YouTube champion, and will Dickie Bowen be able to get that title back anytime soon, despite his injuries? And that ends the show then. 15 rating overall. We've increased our popularity in 13 regions. There was up and down in the show, really. We started off really strongly, then that Chris Cage and Nick Flag I thought would do better. It didn't. Then Mike Kash comes out to challenge Dickie Bowen. That got the crowd straight back up again. But then in the end, the match didn't live up to the expectations. So what are you going to do? Thank you for watching this slightly longer episode than normal, given all the things that happened. Basically, everyone's signed by NXT UK is what you need to take from this. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you for AWA next time for episode 6.